Your contention is right there on your sign. And what's your name?
My name is Wil Elder.
And you were at the protest on July 4th?
I was at the protest on July 4th.
And so what do you have to back up your sign there?
Well, I have my own personal experience in my eyes and my ability to interpret reality.
And what happened? What went down?
What happened was it's kind of a longer story. There was a march on July 2nd that was dubbed the Second Annual March for Rights. The march met in Peaceful Valley underneath the Maple Street Bridge. It started off with 3 speakers. The 3 speakers were then followed up by a police officer who gave us a warning, let us know that if we broke any traffic laws or hindered the rights of other citizens, that we would be subject to arrest, but that having said this, he could then leave us alone and the police would never follow us or escort us. They then left, we went on our march. The march was uneventful as far as those 2 precautions that the police gave us. We didn't break traffic violations and we didn't infringe upon anybody else's rights. The march was fairly lively and uneventful, except for the march itself, until we got to the clock tower. At the clock tower, we laid out an American flag as a picnic blanket. People sat down to have a picnic. The demonstration was called over, and we were then to eat and have discussion. While we were there eating and having discussion, there was a circle of cops that started forming. At first, it was 6, 8 cops. Then it was 10, 12. By the time the cops had finished grouping around us in a circle, there was about 20, 25 cops. One of the police officers pulled out a camera and started taking pictures of the protesters. One of the young men who's across the street currently held up a cardboard sign to block all the pictures that were being taken. This frustrated the officer apparently. He did sort of a football move to get by this young man with the cardboard sign. By the time he was done with his football move trying to get by him, he was right on top of the protesters on their picnic blanket. He started snapping pictures of everyone he could, and on his way out of the group, he pushed the young man off of a bucket. The young man who was on a bucket fell off of the bucket. When he got up, he demanded from the cop to know why he was pushed off the bucket. The cop didn't do anything but get right up in his face. He got, I would say, within a half inch of the cop got within a half inch of his face. The young man attempted to clear his space by brushing his arm over the cop, touched the cop, and from then on it was a melee. I would say with the cops attacking and this young man trying to defend himself. The first cop attempted to bring him down to the ground, was successful in bringing him down to the ground. There were then 4 or 5 other cops who rushed in and aided in his bringing down to the ground, or aided in his submission because he was already on the ground. There were knees and backs. There was an arm around the young man's neck. In my opinion, it was extremely brutal. In an attempt to get to this young man, I was so close to the action that I was pushed aside by a cop trying to get into subdue this gentleman, and he pushed me and nearly kicked a baby who was in a stroller. The melee and fracas was so crazy that I had to pull back 2 strollers that had children in them just for precaution for these kids. From there was a tight group of police that were around this young man, and then a second perimeter of police was created about 30 to 40 feet from the nucleus of this police action. From there, the police then let everyone know who was inside of the line of the police that were on the outer perimeter and on the inside of the perimeter that if you did not leave, you were going to be arrested. There was no dispersal order given at that point. The police then gave a dispersal order while they were advancing on 15 young people who sat in the middle of the group. They arrested all 15 of those people. While they were arresting those people, a larger crowd of third-party bystanders who did not come with the demonstration started surrounding the inner circle of cops. And at that time, there was more people, third-party observers, than there were cops or protesters, with people screaming things like, "Let him go. If you have to arrest them, you're going to have to arrest the whole park. This is 4th of July. This is freedom of speech," things like that.
So you contest the facts of the police report as they...
I completely contest the facts of the police report. I was less than 3 feet from the incident. There was no choking of the cop. The cop claims that there were blows on his back. There was no one close enough to place blows on the cop's back. The only provoking on the part of the demonstrator was a move of his hand to attempt to clear space, in which he did make contact with the police officer. That everyone knows, with any sort of veteran of any type of protest or demonstration, that's going to be the end. The police is going to then take you down to the ground, which is what happened.
So are you friends with Zach, or were you just protesting with him? Do you have no relationship with him?